Hello, and I would say welcome back, but I guess this is our first episode, so I'll just say welcome to Lists. This is a podcast where we count down our top picks in a variety of categories as a springboard into deeper or dumber conversations about art, media, and popular culture. My name is Scott Cassidy.
And I'm Colby Cuppernell, and together we'll be your co-hosts on this project. So, Scott, we've known each other, I was calculating just the other day, almost 21 years now.
What? No.
Yeah, no, 21.
I can't possibly be that old, but all right.
Yeah, well, face it. I believe it was 1998. What I know for a fact is we were both 14 years old, so you do the math in your head.
Well, yeah, okay, 21 years it is.
Whew, yeah. So, essentially, we've been arguing about this stuff for an entire drinking aged young adult's life.
Yeah.
I don't know what that says about us. I don't think it says anything good, but maybe it means this is going to be slightly entertaining.
Well, hopefully.
All right, so well, what do we got here? What are we doing?
Well, I think the idea is we're going to go through all kinds of various different lists, and we're going to count down our top 10s, 5s, whatever, of all kinds of stuff as a way to just talk about stuff.
Yeah. When you first told me about this idea and we first kind of tried it on our own, honestly, I was a little bit kind of skeptical, like, all right, this feels a little contrived.
What? You told me you loved the idea.
No, hold on.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Give it a break. Jeez, so sensitive,
all right.
Man. When you first told me about it, I was like, oh, all right, I guess I'll come up with this list, whatever. But when we actually had the conversation about it, and as I was coming up with the list, I realized how much fun I was having coming up with the list. And it was making me think of all these things that we were going to end up arguing about, or even agreeing on. So anyway,
mostly arguing.
Yeah, mostly arguing. I mean, as long as we don't do one that involves 1984, we'll be all right.
Oh my goodness, you're going to start with 1984?
No.
Right here in the first 5 minutes of the first podcast episode.
I think that, to be fair to everyone, we should probably set the tone.
1984 is a great book. End of story.
1984 is a travesty.
All right, we're just going to move on.
All right, let's do that.
We'll get back to that, I'm sure, someday.
10 worst books of all time.
Okay, hilarious. So yeah, that's basically what this podcast is going to be in a nutshell. It's going to be us going through lists and talking about it. I think the best way that this podcast is going to work is if all of you listening right now interact with us. And that means, letting us know if our lists were great or terrible, where you agree, disagree, all that type of stuff.
Letting Scott know how wrong he is about things is really important to me. So please do that.
If any of you can ever find one instance, I'd love to hear from you.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so the way this is going to work is at the end of every episode, we will announce what next week's list is going to be. And, figure out any rules or ways to interpret that and get all that ironed out for us. But then all of you can then kind of play along with us and think of your own lists and, see how it compares when the next episode drops and we give ours.
And eventually we definitely want to have a situation where our listeners are contributing ideas for lists and ideas for rules. There are things that we might not think of, maybe even rules-wise, involving a list that might make it more fun, make it more interesting. That's the way I look at it is this is really just going to be as valuable as the listeners make it, and that participation is going to be a lot of fun. I think that's the cool thing about this idea for me.
Yeah, and so you're probably wondering, how then can you participate?
Tell us.
And there are lots of ways to do that. Probably the best and most direct way would be to email us. And you can do that at liststhepod@gmail.com. That's liststhepod@gmail.com. You can also talk with us on social media, specifically Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. That is at liststhepod. And finally, you can always find every episode of this podcast, links, poll questions, and all kinds of other fun stuff on our website, liststhepodcast.com.
All right. So why don't we get this thing started? The first list was your idea. So why don't you you tell us a little bit about it?
That's why it's so good. Okay.
I
So
signed on for this.
Yeah, like you listen to me very much anyway.
Fair point.
Okay. So list number 1, we're going to count down our top 10 fictional detectives.
As much as I hate to say it, it's a great idea.
Of course it is. It came from me. So, did we have any rules that we laid out before we did this list? We came up with this idea a little while ago. I've already forgotten them.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, we laid out some rules, and I thought I liked the rules a lot. The big thing was, and we really emphasized this strongly, was that the word detective, the interpretation of that was up to us, up to the individual. Go stretch that as far as you want to, or keep it as narrow as possible. Does that person actually have to have the title detective, right? Do they have to be on a police force, or can they be doing things that are traditionally associated with detectives? So that was the big one, was feel free to interpret this however you want. And that could mean one of us interprets it very strictly and one of us interprets it very loosely, or we're both all over the place.
We do not talk to each other. We set the list, and then we go our separate ways, and we do not discuss. We don't brainstorm together. These are completely done in isolation.
No. If we brainstorm together, all we would do is just argue like we're going to do now anyway.
Yeah, and we'd ruin a good podcast recording. All right. I think the other rule was only one iteration of any character, right?
Yeah. I think we talked about specifically like Sherlock Holmes, where 30 actors
you got
played
to pick
him.
one.
Yeah. You pick one that is for you the one that you're identifying. Is it the one from the book? Is it the one from this movie or that movie?
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. or Benedict Cumberbatch or
you're going right to Robert
Peter
Downey
Cushing
Jr.
or whoever you want. Yeah. Well, you never know. Maybe he doesn't even make my list.
Maybe you are.
Yeah. Okay.
He's the definitive Iron Man. He could be the definitive Holmes. I don't know.
Well, okay, we'll find out. So I think that's pretty much it for all the guidelines we have for this, right?
As far as I can remember, were the rules that we came up with.
Well, I hope so, because that's all I followed.
I was going to say, that's all I followed too, so.
Okay. Well, I guess one of us has to kick this whole thing off.
All right. I'll do it.
All right.
Take one for the team here.
All right. Kick us off.
All right. Well, first, I got to say, this was really, ridiculously hard to get 10.
Yeah, there's a lot of options.
Oh, my God. It was so hard. Especially if, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I like this genre so much that it was a challenge. So I'm going to start with just quickly 3 that it absolutely tore into my soul to leave off of this list. Okay.
Oh, we're doing just straight into honorable mentions.
I just feel like these.
So when I told you to kick off our top 10, you lied, and you're not going to do that.
All right. I'm going to get to 10. All right. What I'm saying is that any of these 3, I could. Depending on how I woke up that morning, I could slot into 10.
Okay, I got you.
You know what I mean?
I got you. Okay.
All right. So those 3 are D.I. Ellie Miller from the show Broadchurch, which is
Miller.
Mela. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Excellent.
if you,
All right.
there are probably a
Yeah.
lot of people listening who have no idea why we just did that. Terrible Scottish accent.
Television show Broadchurch. It's on Netflix. You
Oh,
should definitely check it out.
it's so good. What are
It's
they
very
did?
good.
3 seasons.
Yeah, 3 seasons. Very good.
Seasons.
Very good.
Just
Miller, played by Olivia Colman, who
Oscar-winning
is
Olivia Colman.
yeah, outstanding actress.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
Um,
Not you're on your list. Okay.
yeah, not on my list. Painfully so. Along
Okay.
with Detective Rust Cole from the first season of True Detective.
Rust Cole.
McConaughey's Rust Cole, man. No?
I honestly never even thought of that.
Really? Oh.
That's a really good. Man, I might have to change my list on the fly here.
I somehow he didn't get on my list, and
Yeah, I think it's probably because it's only 8 episodes or whatever it is.
yeah, but they were 8
It's
good episodes.
Yeah, it's like maybe 4 hours of screen time.
Yeah, I don't
Total?
even care, but they're so good. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah,
he's
no,
not on the list.
it's
He's not
good
on the
stuff.
list. He's not
Okay,
on the
not
list.
on the
You
list.
know.
All right.
And then, okay, my last one that really pained me to leave off was DCI John Luther, as played by Idris Elba on the show Luther, which is a BBC drama. I believe they just released their 5th season.
Is that the last season, or is it
I
still going?
think that's the last season. Hopefully,
okay.
because they're making him James Bond.
Oh, well, yeah.
They're not going
I
to.
have never seen a single episode of Luther.
What?
No, never seen
Whoa. How is that a thing we haven't talked about?
it. I don't know. Apparently, I need to watch
You
that.
haven't seen a single episode of Luther?
Not one.
Oh my god. Are you an Elba?
I'm aware of its existence. Like, yeah.
Are you an Elba
never
appreciator?
Yeah, no, I like Idris Elba.
Oh, dude, then you gotta. It's so good.
I mean, he's Stringer Bell to me, but
Yeah, he's Stringer Bell, but I'm telling you, you see this show and.
oh, okay. He's
I don't
also
know.
Luther. Okay.
He's whoever he wants to be. He's so
Well, sure.
amazing. Yeah.
All
and,
right.
and he should be James Bond. I'm putting that out there right now. He should be James Bond.
All right. I have no argument.
Good. Nor should you.
All right.
All
right, number 10.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Let's go.
Again, painful to leave those off. And if you haven't seen any of those shows, please check them
I
out.
feel your pain.
Do yourself a favor. So, this one actually was kind of tangentially just brought up. My number 10. You ready for this? We getting this started?
Oh, yeah, okay.
All right. Another honorable... I'm kidding. No more honorable mentions.
Oh, my God.
Okay, 10. All right. I
Mhm.
I kind of fudged the rules here a little bit because to me the
Already?
Yeah,
We're starting?
Listen, you know who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
All right, just
Habitual
you
line
can't
stepper.
separate these two detectives, and I know you could
Okay.
probably say that about a lot of detective partnerings, but for me,
Yeah.
number 10, Jimmy McNulty and the Bunk from The Wire. I just
okay.
they go hand in hand.
Mm.
They're fantastic. What can you say about it?
Good choice.
I mean,
All right.
yeah, you've got an
I
entire
can't argue
scene
that too
where they
much.
solve a case using
Using
only
nothing but the word fuck, yeah.
fuck. Variations of
Yeah.
it.
That's classic.
Go ahead, do yourself a favor too. If you're listening and you don't know what we're talking about, YouTube that. You will
Yeah, that's hilarious.
be enchanted.
To be fair, I could probably separate them and just have McNulty on my list.
Whoa, you're gonna do the Bunk like that?
I'm gonna do the Bunk like that.
You
Yeah.
can't do the Bunk like that.
Sorry, Bunk.
Oh
You're
no.
out.
McNulty's great, but he comes with the Bunk.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't.
All right. Well, that's a good number 10. I like that.
Yeah, and I feel like they sit in there at number 10. But again, then I look at my 3 that were left off, and I'm like, I don't know. But that's my 10. I went with them because,
All right.
mainly because of that scene. That's amazing, and it is my favorite word.
All right. Well, I guess I'll go with number 10.
Let's hear it.
All right. I have from the 1941 movie The Maltese Falcon, Sam Spade, as played by Humphrey Bogart.
Mr. Bogart, Sam Spade,
Bogey.
you're gonna get some fans with that one, I think.
I mean, it's a classic.
Well, all right. You want to hear something appalling?
Okay.
I have never seen The Maltese Falcon, nor have I read the book.
All right. Well,
it's
Dashiell Hammett. I know you like Dashiell Hammett.
I actually have not read any Dashiell Hammett, so I have a couple of Dashiell Hammett
don't
books
know you at all. Okay.
Sitting on my nightstand that have been.
Oh, it's Chandler that you like. It's Chandler.
A big Chandler fan. Yeah. Which makes me think that I would really appreciate Hammett, but I just for some reason haven't gotten to it yet. But
okay.
So Sam.
Yeah, I mean it's classic. It's Humphrey Bogart. He's a hard talking classic Hollywood detective, and it's the good stuff.
It's the textbook hard boiled detective kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't argue with that, and I feel ashamed of myself for not knowing that.
As you should.
And I feel like that's one that would really probably manipulate my list quite a bit, actually.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
Well, who knows?
Yeah. All right. So Sam Spade is 10 for me. And I guess I'll go ahead and I'll do number 9.
Yeah, do 9.
All right. I have... I'm sort of cheating. The character Rick Deckard from both Blade Runner movies.
Whoa.
Harrison Ford.
You had to pick one. You got to pick one.
Blade Runner, Rick Deckard.
Okay. Rick Deckard, Blade Runner.
And Blade Runner 2049.
I mean, Harrison Ford.
It's Harrison Ford.
That's all you got to say.
And, it's a classic. It's obviously a sci-fi film, but he is very much a detective in a very classic Sam Spade type of way in the movie.
It's noir, it's set in the future.
I mean, the theatrical version even has your typical, voiceover narration, just like the classic detective movies.
That just reminded me of something you told me once when we were watching Blade Runner, discussing Blade Runner or something.
You mean when I showed you Blade Runner when we were like 19 and you were bored and told me you didn't like it?
Because you tried to show it to me on a Saturday night in a co-ed dorm room at the University of Texas with the door wide open and people partying.
It's all right. I was always more mature.
All right. You got to pick your spots here, bud.
I'm showing you classic cinema. And you're there just, who knows what you're doing. Anyway, continue.
I know what I was thinking, but...
All right, let's keep this, at least R-rated.
All right, so Deckard, great pick. But if you let me finish, you had this thing that cracked me up, and I cannot remember the way you phrased it perfectly, but it was something about, like, being in Hong Kong with a bowl of noodles or something. What was that?
I don't know how exactly I phrased it, but I'll phrase it now.
Sure.
Like, Harrison Ford at the beginning of Blade Runner, sitting in the rain in nighttime, rainy Hong Kong, eating a bowl of noodles, is my sexual orientation. That is...
Okay, that is not how you phrased it, but I think I like that.
That is my jam.
Much better.
That would be my happy place. That is where I want to go.
Okay, and I believe I mentioned to you at the time, that was more close to how you phrased it at the time, your happy place. but you are freely available to purchase both a trench coat and noodles in Hong Kong. Like, this is a thing you can make happen.
Yeah, but plane tickets to Hong Kong are not cheap.
Fair. And I mean...
As a compromise, I have hanging on my wall of this very room an artist's rendition of that moment.
Oh, that's... Man. You gotta send me a picture of that.
That I found in a poster shop locally, and I had to buy it immediately.
What? Wait, you found that? You didn't go digging for it?
No. Walked into a store... was thumbing through some local artists' posters, and there it was.
Oh, that's a good find.
$25.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Why didn't you get 2, you jerk?
There was only 1.
Oh, I'm upset with you. I am. That would have been an awesome birthday present.
Well, it was for me. Um, so yeah, Rick Deckard, number 9.
Man, all right, that's a really good pick, Rick Deckard. Again,
I recommend the Final Cut version. That's the best version.
yeah, which Final Cut? There are like 30.
The one branded Final Cut.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to put a link up or something.
The director's cut is they made it really green on the color correction. But anyway,
I don't
I'm
even know
nerdy. which
which copy of it I have. I have one that I found somewhere. It was reasonably priced. It's probably the terrible one.
You know, we kind of just launched into this without even like talking about ourselves. We should probably say like, I'm a movie guy.
Yeah, I guess.
So that's kind of where my lists may skew. I'm going to try not to do that, but they might naturally. As you are, I don't know, a man of letters, however you say.
Wow. I think from now on I'm going to put Esquire after my name.
Yeah, you should. So anyway, to our listeners, Colby's a writer, and he's quite good.
Yeah.
He will deny it. Yeah, you know, screw you, you are.
Thank you.
And
That's Scott. Hold on. For his part, Scott is a very, very talented filmmaker.
That's untrue, but I occasionally try to do that.
All right. Anyway, enough blowing smoke.
Okay, all right.
So
keep going.
Yeah, our lists are going to come from a couple of different perspectives, and they're going to be challenges. Yeah. As more of a book-oriented person, it's going to be a struggle for me in certain areas, and but also I'm going to be able to dominate others, and vice versa.
Sure. I'd say we're experts in, well, air quotes on that heavily, in a few areas, but I think we've got a pretty broad
we're Renaissance
spectrum
men.
Of stuff that interests us. Of course, yeah.
New Renaissance men.
So hopefully we are excellent guides for all of you listening to this.
I think that's something we need to quickly update on the website, is just add Esquire to the end of both of our names.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Can we put like Renaissance man? Is that a title you can give yourself?
Sure.
Thanks.
you print up some business cards. Go with that.
Don't think I won't.
Oh, I know you will. All right, what's your number 9?
All right, number 9 for me. We mentioned Chandler, and that I'm a fan of Chandler, and I am, which brings in number 9, Philip Marlowe, but Philip Marlowe from the books.
From the books.
For me, just the dialogue is amazing. I love it. It's some of the tightest dialogue you're ever gonna read, and they're so true to it in the films because it's almost impossible to improve upon.
Well, when it's great, why bother rewriting it?
Exactly. Well, they do it enough that you would wonder.
You could ask Hollywood that now. But yeah.
But anyway, so Philip Marlowe, and again, just
solid choice.
I like the way that Marlowe doesn't give a crap who hired him, who committed the crime. They're all equal in his eyes. The only thing he cares about is the answer to the problem.
Nice.
There's no, emotional investment in one way or another for him. It's just, I've been hired to do this. I'm going to do it. He's just a get it done dude. And
if you were gonna recommend a first Chandler novel to our listeners, what would your pick be?
Ooh. Your first one, The Big Sleep. Read The Big Sleep.
Okay.
I know that's kind of like everybody's read, well, not everybody's seen
or heard of it at least.
But they've heard of it, and that's kind of the Bogart.
But for a reason, it's a good one.
The Bogart, Bogart played him in that one. But that was made a couple of times too, right? Was it Elliot?
Elliot Gould, yeah.
I've heard that version's good. I've never seen it, but.
It's not very faithful to the book. It's more of a humorous kind of take.
Yeah. Which is interesting. I don't know how, but it's pretty dark material.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Worth a watch.
Number 9. All right, keep going.
All right, so number 8. This is where I'm going to start stretching it a bit. Okay. All right. So number 8 for me is Russell Baze from the movie Out of the Furnace. This was Christian Bale's character.
No.
So, all right, yeah. To be fair, Out of the Furnace is this movie that came out a couple of years ago. It's Christian Bale, Woody Harrelson,
Now I know you and know that you love that movie,
right?
but yeah.
Casey Affleck. Bale plays this guy
Okay.
who just, I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but this dude is
Yeah, let's try to keep this spoiler free.
Yeah, this guy has got the luck you wouldn't believe, and it takes place in really just like a dying iron town and a dying steel town, and that's kind of where part of where the title comes from. And as you will come to learn about me, I am a sucker for a good revenge story. Oh, I love a good.
Yes, you are.
I love a good revenge story.
Yeah.
I don't know what that says about my personality.
I don't know either.
I'm not sure I want to go anywhere near finding out what that says about my personality.
I know I don't want to do something that you need to revenge.
Well, I've certainly got enough source material.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, cool.
I love
not
that movie.
anywhere near my top 10, but a personal choice, and I respect that. Very good.
I know, and you've seen it, and you.
Yeah, it's all right.
Well, that was dismissive.
Sorry.
Hold on, you need to. There might be people listening who need to understand that movie is good and they should watch it.
It's a good movie, and you should watch it. Yes.
I am a teacher, and I showed parts of this film to my class because there are so many great literary elements in it, and my students begged me to watch the whole movie. They wanted to watch.
Well, anything to not listen to you talk anymore is.
I didn't think of that.
I think.
And that was a low blow. But
sorry. Out of the Furnace is a good movie. It is recommended.
Right. Thank you. All right.
Okay.
It's got the official list stamp.
Yeah, for all that's worth.
Hey, it could be a sticker we put on DVDs and books and stuff.
Like Oprah's book club? Sure.
Yeah.
We're as big as Oprah, right?
As far as I know.
30 minutes into our first podcast.
Come on.
I mean, basically, we're the same.
What's the last thing Oprah did?
Yeah, nothing.
Someone needs to fill that void, and here we are, America.
2 straight white men. All right. What America needs. Yeah. Okay, cool. That was 8, right?
Yes, that was my 8.
Okay,
so it's
I'll do 8. All right, 8. I have, and I don't know if you've ever seen this. This was a classic. I used to watch it on Nick at Night. Aging myself right there.
Nick at Night.
Columbo from the TV show Columbo.
I thought you were going to say Gilligan.
No, as played by the great Peter Falk. Columbo's in your top 10? It's an excellent character. Like, he plays dumb. Like, he figures out pretty quickly who did it, and he plays really dumb and makes them think they're getting away with it until they, like, trip up and do something that's, like, proof, and then he'll spring on them.
Oh, wait, is this where that, like, trope of, like, oh, just one more thing comes from?
Yeah. Just one more question, mister.
And that's where the whole thing unravels.
Yeah, and then he lays it all out perfectly, and you realize he's a genius.
So, all right, is this like the formulaic nature of this appeals to your nostalgic 10-year-old self?
Sure, but they're actually like good plots, and it's very well performed.
You're telling me if you're watching Columbo today,
it holds up.
Today, you're having just as much fun.
Oh yeah, it's good stuff.
All right, yeah.
You know, the very first episode was not the pilot, but the first episode was directed by Steven Spielberg.
Get the hell out of here.
In 1971, it was like his big break.
You're full of crap. Somebody needs to fact check that. Are you serious?
Yeah, for real.
Steven Spielberg.
A lot of great people worked on that show. Yeah.
Of Columbo.
It's a good show. I recommend it.
What year was this?
I bet it's on YouTube or something. 1971.
1971, Spielberg.
And it aired like 3 or 4 or 5 episodes a year off and on. I think it got into like the 2000s.
Oh God,
They were still making new episodes.
I remember Columbo going forever, and even still, I never saw an episode.
I recommend it. It's a good character.
I mean, I can't knock it. I never saw it.
Stories.
I want to try and be open-minded here. I've never seen it, so I have no idea. But I can tell you right now, I'm not rushing to the Roku looking for it.
Hey, you're lost, man. Columbo, number 8.
Columbo.
All right, I'll do number 7.
Yeah.
And this is our first matching one.
Oh.
I have Philip Marlowe.
Hey.
From the Chandler novels.
From the novels, too. Wow.
From the novels, too.
Attaboy.
I've read The Big Sleep and The Long Goodbye.
Both fantastic.
I was thinking of maybe doing, the Bogart Bacall movie from the 40s.
Oh, yeah. It's such a tough call.
But I already have Bogart for my number 10, so...
Well, that certainly does not rule it out.
It doesn't rule it out, but I think I like the books better. Although the screenplay for the movie version was written by freaking William Faulkner.
Yes, it was. Little known fact.
Yeah.
Mr. William Faulkner. During his prime alcohol imbibing days.
Hey, it was still good. It's a very good movie. But yeah, the books are especially fun.
Yeah, they're they're great, and they're
good reads.
They're quick reads too. I know that reading's such a hard sell these days, which drives me insane. But those books are,
they're quick and they're really good.
Yeah, you can get into those
recommended
because the dialogue's just so snappy that it carries you along on this wave, and it just it works.
The Big Sleep or The Long Goodbye by Chandler. Definitely check it out.
Yes, those are getting the sticker as well.
All right, giving out stickers.
I like the sticker idea now. I'm getting more excited about it the more I think.
All right, well, we'll have to print up some stickers. All right, who do you have? Who do you have at 7?
Okay, so it's back to me. All right, after Columbo and
Philip Marlowe.
All right, so 7 for me. This is a callback.
Yep.
This has already been mentioned, but I've got from the same show, Broadchurch, right? Which we mentioned, which everybody who hasn't seen it needs to check out.
Hardy?
I've got DCI, Alec Hardy. Mela. I love that show, and I love that character. And I got to say, I'm probably...
Miller, not on the list, but Hardy on the list?
Yeah, I know.
It's an excellent show, and he's great on that show. But if you're going to pick one of them, I feel like it should be Miller.
She's got more of the emotional arc on that show, I'll give you that. But you know me, I'm a sucker for the broken down person in shambles seeking redemption.
It's the detective who's destructive to his physical self and personal relationship. It's kind of cliche.
Sure, but...
I mean, it's done very well, yes. But if I'm going to do one, I'm going to do Miller.
I don't, I can see the argument. I can. For me...
You know what? Actually, I'm going to step up. I am going to put D.I. Miller at my number 10.
Whoa. You can't go with just...
I can do whatever I want. It's our podcast.
Are you doing that? You're just going to try and show me up by doing that?
Yeah, that's right. Number 10 is no longer Sam Spade. It is D.I. Miller from Broadchurch.
Well, you know what? That's okay because she's outranked by number 7, which is Detective Hardy.
And that's fine. You can be wrong like that.
There's going to be some pushback on this one.
I had her as a very close honorable mention, and she should be on the list.
This is the first I've heard of it. Seems pretty convenient for you. I think you're pandering.
One of us wasted time with honorable mentions. The other of us kept silent.
You're pandering. You're pandering is what you're doing.
Okay, whatever. It's my number 10.
Anyway, so interesting fact about this, right? Okay. David Tennant, renowned actor, most famous for Doctor Who, right?
Right.
My first encounter with David Tennant is Broadchurch.
Oh, okay, it's Hardy.
So yep, I don't watch Doctor Who, and I know please don't slaughter me for that. And
All the Who heads out there, or whatever
yeah,
you're called. I have no idea. I haven't seen it either.
yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know that he's
Yeah.
beloved for that, and
Right.
but for
I've
me,
honestly only seen him on Broadchurch, and I think I've seen like a couple episodes of Doctor Who,
uh,
and like Jessica Jones, he was the villain.
that's right. But he
Um,
does a lot of Shakespeare. If you haven't seen him in any of the Shakespeare work he does, he's really
yeah,
good
he's
at
really
that.
good.
He,
Yeah.
he did a really good Hamlet.
Uh,
Really good Hamlet.
yeah, good.
Yeah.
All right, so what was
I
that?
mean,
That was
not
7.
not one of the prime Hamlets, but anyway.
Well,
All right.
yeah.
So DCI Alicardi. If you haven't seen Broadchurch, oh my God, see Broadchurch. It's
Yeah, I think that's the takeaway so far from both of us.
I
Just watch
think that's
Broadchurch.
right. That's one thing we can certainly agree on is
Yeah, we're lockstep on that one.
wherever you have Mella, wherever you have Hardy,
Yeah,
and you just Broadchurch is one of the best.
yeah, it's
one
great.
of the best mysteries out there. It's just oh my God, it's so good.
It's very cheery. It's a happy show.
Oh yeah, you're gonna love it.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So what does that take us to 6?
Yeah, hit me with 6.
But speaking of Mela,
Okay.
I actually have a different Mela here.
All
Now
right.
this again, I like the idea of stretching the boundaries a little bit, so I'm stretching the boundaries. All right.
So
I
already
went
this
with
is terrible.
from the movie Saving Private Ryan, which
Oh.
you know is one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
From the movie Saving
Tom
Private
Hanks?
Ryan, I put
Alright.
Tom Hanks' character Captain Miller in there.
Interesting.
You know,
Yeah,
I-
that's a detective. I can give you that.
right? I mean,
That's not that big of a stretch. Sure.
I had a hard time with this one, whether or not that was a quest or detective work.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. He has to figure out what happened to him.
Yeah, and
to
I don't know
find
that the
him.
two are mutually exclusive. You know,
Yeah.
a quest can also be detective work in its own way.
That's a stretch, but yeah, I'll allow that. That makes sense.
I don't know. What a great character.
Yeah, not on my
Uh,
list. I didn't think of that, but yeah, that's
The
good.
scene where they're all sitting there flipping through the dog tags and cracking jokes, and you've got the
Yeah,
line of
yeah.
guys just coming back from combat,
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's good
and
stuff.
he comes over and just shits. Oh man,
Not one of my favorite movies, but yeah, it's very good.
what? Oh my God, probably some silent film from like 1918.
You know, I'm not just pure pretension. Thank you.
I don't know. I don't know if Saving Private Ryan's not one of your favorite movies. There's clearly something wrong with you.
It's a very good movie. I think there's like a handful of better Spielberg movies alone, let alone other movies. But okay.
How dare you, sir?
And I'll go to one right now.
Oh,
Number 6. From the Spielberg movie Minority Report,
Anderton.
John Anderton, as played by Tom Cruise.
The incomparable Tom Cruise.
What do you think of that one? John Anderton, number
John
6.
Anderton was like the one that was almost in my 3 honorable mentions that were too painful. Like I am in wholehearted agreement with you on that one.
Oh, it's a really good movie.
And now I feel like there's a part of me
Anderton,
that
man.
wants to bump McNulty in the bunk for
Oh.
Anderton, but I'm not going to.
No, only I can do that.
I'm not pulling a move like you. My list is my list.
Only I have that power. You can't do that.
Okay.
I mean, we said no spoilers, but the scene with all the photographs. Oh man,
Yeah, it's not a spoiler, but yes,
probably Tom Cruise's best work. Maybe it's really good.
it's that or Magnolia. But I would say they're on.
Or Eyes Wide Shut, but yeah, something like that.
They're all on equal footing as far as his performance
Yeah.
goes.
That is my second Philip K. Dick short story inspired entry
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
after Blade Runner. But yeah, the sci-fi detective stuff, I guess, gets me. That's my second.
Apparently, I mean,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, that's good stuff.
that was a really well done one, and he was so
Yeah.
good in that role. And
Yeah.
Spielberg obviously did a great job with that.
Early Colin Farrell,
Yeah, early Colin Farrell. That's right.
the great Max von Sydow.
Speaking of movies that my students enjoyed, that's
Oh,
one actually, we kind of get down to the day before Christmas break, and
well, sure.
it doesn't make sense to do any instruction because half the
Yeah,
class is actually there and that kind of stuff.
And you're
But anyway,
lazy, but yeah.
so, if you just ask them, like, hey, what do you want to watch on Netflix? You're going to basically start a civil war that you don't want any part of. It makes Endgame look like like a, I don't know, like a Sally Field movie. Why did I just go to Sally Field? I have no idea.
What do you got against Sally Field?
I was trying to think of that one where her and Julia Roberts,
Do what?
I don't know, like Julia Roberts is dying or something.
I don't know. You might have dreamed that, man. That's
Steel Magnolias, is that it?
Oh, I've never seen that.
Or is it the pizza one?
I don't know.
Yeah. Someone's gonna have to write in and help us out.
Yeah.
I'm not
Anyway.
looking it up. I don't care enough.
We love Sally Field. Sorry, Sally.
Sally,
I don't know why he's picking on you.
I love Sally Field. She's great in something.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway.
Yeah. So you were showing a movie in school.
Yeah, there we are. Yeah. Anyway, so you have to pick the movie for the kids, and they always get mad at you. And I forgot that for them, Minority Report is ancient. I mean, what year did that come out?
Don't say that.
What year?
Like 2002.
Oh, holy crap. So 2002 to my kids, that's 17 years. That came out well before they were born. I teach freshmen in high school for the most part. And so they groaned and groaned, and then all of a sudden the whole room is silent. And then they're all mad at me because when we get back from break, I won't show them the rest of it because we have stuff to do.
Hey, that's what they get.
I told her, I said, hey, go out. You can rent it. I'll let you borrow the DVD or something. But
yeah. All right. John Anderton from Minority Report, number 6 for me.
Yeah. Good pick.
Thank you.
Tip of the cap.
Yeah, I like that one. That was a good one. Should I do 5 or what?
Yeah, hit 5.
Okay. And maybe this is a little shockingly low. I don't know. But it's as high as I could get him. I have Sherlock Holmes at 5. And the tough part for me was picking which one. And I decided to go ahead and go with Benedict Cumberbatch from the TV show Sherlock.
Doctor Strange, huh?
Yeah.
All right. I've never seen it.
Never seen the show?
You know what? All right. So, spoiler alert. Sherlock Holmes does not appear on my list anywhere because
what?
I have never seen a single episode of a Sherlock Holmes television show of any rendition. I have never seen a Sherlock Holmes film of any vintage. And, wait for it, I have never read a word of any of the Sherlock Holmes mysteries, short stories, or full length.
Wow.
I can't tell you why. It's not like I've gone out of my way not to.
Well, we all have our weird blind spots. And
it just doesn't appeal to me. I hear Sherlock Holmes.
It doesn't appeal to you.
I hear Sherlock Holmes and I'm like, okay, that just sounds really boring. You know what I associate it with, and this is going to be ridiculous, and I know that let me stress this ahead of time.
Like stuffy British period stuff?
No, you're going to be even more upset.
What?
I know that this is not true, but this is where it sits in my head. All right?
Okay.
I don't know that I can even get it out of my mouth.
Just say it.
I associate it with, like, Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo? What do you mean Scooby-Doo?
I don't, like, that's where Sherlock Holmes...
Yeah, you've clearly never, I now believe you have never seen or read anything Sherlock. Scooby-Doo, my brain hurts.
Sherlock Holmes, for me, is in the same world as Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, just any iteration. Just, you sound really dumb right now. Sherlock Holmes is not particularly stuffy. Like, even in the original short stories, he like does cocaine and he's
Oh, and Scooby-Doo doesn't do drugs?
Well, Shaggy's high as hell all the time, yeah. It's a good character, especially, if you're like my co-host Colby and you've never done any Sherlock Holmes, the TV show Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch is an excellent intro.
And you can watch Scooby-Doo right after.
All right.
Just, so you're aware, Scrappy-Doo is in my top 3.
I look forward to that.
We
all know Daphne should be number 1, but all right.
I was always more of a Velma girl. Or guy. What?
All right. Well, okay.
I laughed myself into a stupor there.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have Sherlock Holmes at number 5.
There must have been an episode of Scooby-Doo where Sherlock Holmes showed up.
Yeah, and I haven't. No.
They were forever married in my mind.
Maybe. I don't know. Some episode, someone was wearing the cap or whatever. Maybe.
Yeah, it's a doofus cap, man. How am I supposed to take that seriously?
All right. Okay, that was my 5. What's your 5?
Scooby-Doo. No.
I'm going to edit out all the Scooby-Doo stuff, I swear.
You cannot edit out the Scooby-Doo stuff.
It's gone. No one's ever going to hear this.
I feel like that's the best part we're ever going to record. We just peaked.
All right, we're done, ladies and gentlemen. We've peaked.
Right. Thank
Goodbye.
you. And it was a great run.
Yeah.
All right, 5. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so a film I think we both can agree on.
Okay.
I've got at 5 Jake Hoyt, which is Ethan Hawke's character from Training Day.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah.
I love that movie. I love that character's arc. I like what he has to go through and overcome. I mean, the bathtub scene, dude. The bathtub scene. My God. Yeah. Well, forget about the bathtub.
Well, that's a good choice. I like that.
Yeah, that whole entire scene in the apartment, starting from the... Oh, man.
Solid choice. I like that.
So good. Anyway, that's a great movie.
I love Ethan Hawke, of course. All right.
Was that an Oscar-winning performance? Did he get an Oscar for that, or was it just a nomination?
Definitely a nomination. I don't know if he won. Probably not.
No. Anyway, who knows?
No, definitely not, because he was like, it was a story he might finally win one for First Reformed.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So probably just nominated.
Which was a good movie, but not in our purview tonight.
Not tonight. Yeah.
All right.
Interesting. Solid number 5. All right. You want to do 4?
Yeah. All right. So 4, we actually have already talked about. I just have them higher.
It was on my list?
From Blade Runner, I've got Rick Deckard. I mean,
very nice.
So
you finally grew up and realized. I got you.
When the timing's right, it's amazing what you'll like.
Yeah, all right. Fair enough. Okay, cool. Rick Deckard.
What are we going to do? I don't want to be the one to bring this up, but somebody does. What are we going to do when we lose Harrison Ford?
No, that shall not be spoken about.
Yeah.
He will live forever. Don't be ridiculous.
Honestly, I feel like, no offense, Dad, and he's going to take offense, so I'm going to say no offense, Dad. I honestly feel like I might cry harder. I feel like I might. My dad's gonna be pissed.
Yeah, I'm picturing him right now. That's why.
You know what? I'm sure my dad cried harder when Paul Newman died than he did
when you died to him many years ago. Okay, yeah.
I think when I died to him the moment he hears this.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right.
Rick Deckard, solid
Rick
number
Deckard.
4. I like
all right, yeah. All right, so let's go back and forth now.
Okay.
Instead of doing 2 at a time.
Okay.
So hit me with number 3.
I'm on 4 still.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Number 4 for me. And I had a few choices from which version to take it from. But it was only one choice. I have Will Graham from the TV show Hannibal, as played by Hugh Dancy.
Not
Number
a
4.
single one of. I feel like you were just speaking another language.
Will Graham from the TV show Hannibal.
Don't know either of those.
Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal is in Hannibal Lecter, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he was in the Thomas Harris novel Red Dragon.
Okay.
That was adapted into some other movies. Manhunter, Michael Mann in the 80s.
Yeah.
And Red Dragon with Ray Fiennes in like the early 2000s.
Right.
And then he's
then
the lead.
TV show, right?
Yeah, he's the lead of the TV show Hannibal.
Prematurely canceled, right?
No.
No,
Probably about right.
I feel like that one was like.
Well, maybe other people would agree with that. Yeah. Played by Hugh Dancy. Season 2's very good. Season 3 kind of fell apart, and that was the last one.
Okay, so you are in the it was appropriately canceled camp.
Well, maybe I would have liked a chance to right the ship in season 4, but
yeah, all right.
Yeah, so he was played by Edward Norton in the Red Dragon movie. But yeah, Hugh Dancy's Will Graham, excellent character. He's like super smart, and he's an FBI profiler, and he like empathizes with like serial killers to like get in their mindset to track them down, but it's like destructive to his own mental psyche. Is like the deal.
Right. So you get to see him kind of.
Yeah, it's very cool. And bold statement, I would say the first and only the first season of the TV show Hannibal is like maybe the best season of TV ever.
You have seen Breaking Bad, correct?
I've seen a lot of TV, yeah. It's fantastic.
I know you've seen a lot of TV.
I've seen a lot of everything. Yeah, Will Graham from Hannibal, number 4.
Hold on, the best season of TV, period?
Oh, it's up there. It's fantastic.
All right. Well, now instead of arguing with you, I feel like I need to get on this.
Everyone listening should get on that.
All right, but you need to understand that I will be furious if it's bad.
It's not bad, I promise. Maybe you won't go that high, but it's definitely not bad.
All right. Okay. I'm going to have to check it out. I can't agree or disagree at this point. So that's number 3 is...
That's 4.
Oh, 4, sorry. And that was Hugh Dancy?
Yeah, that's the actor, yeah.
Oh, what's the character's name?
Will Graham.
Will Graham.
Yep.
Hugh Dancy. Okay. All right. Man, I'm going to have to check that out. That's a high ranking, man, for something I haven't seen.
It's a very cool character.
All right. Okay. I love good characters.
All
Especially dark ones, and that's what it sounds like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. One of the darkest endings to a season of TV ever, but yeah.
I like darkness. I do.
Much like your soul.
Yeah, I did just say I'm going to cry more at Harrison.
You did. You did. All right. You want to start us off? Go back and forth. Top 3?
Yeah, why not? All right. Okay, so 3 for me. Some people would call this a guilty pleasure, but I'm not going to, because I want to just state for the record that there is not even an ounce of guilt for me in this, because it's awesome. It can be a little bit campy, but
I have no idea what this is.
It's just so much fun. All right, so number 3, you ready for this? And this, I know that, look, if we were doing some kind of like objective scholarly list, this would not be the case.
Yeah,
this is personal, right? This is to us.
Yeah.
To me, number 3 is Raylan Givens from Justified.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know you love that show. I have never seen Justified.
All right.
So I can't really talk too much about that one.
And end of pod.
We're end of friendship.
Yeah. 21 years. Go.
It's just over right there. All right.
If you like good dialogue, like just funny dialogue.
Who is that? The actor?
Is it Timothy?
Oh, Timothy Oliphant, right?
Oliphant, right?
Yeah.
Just man, he's so good.
Number 3.
he gets better and better in the role as the series continues, and just his the way he talks to the criminals is absolutely amazing. Like, the guy's got kind of a, I don't want to say he's got a death wish, but he,
Oh, okay.
he's
Cool.
he's messed up, and so like he just doesn't have any fear or filter or it's and the dynamic that they ended up Justified can be a tough sell. Like when I watched the first 3 episodes or so, I was like, all right, this is corny. I can't do this. And it had its funny lines, and I appreciated Raylan, but it found its footing somewhere in the middle of season 1, and from there I was like 100% on board, and I ended up binging it. It's fantastic. And his lines, I mean, just go on YouTube and look up the best of Raylan Givens and you will crack up.
Oh, okay.
But crack up while also appreciating the drama.
Cool. All right.
Anyway,
Well, I guess that goes on my list of stuff to watch.
Yeah, I love it. And it's Elmore Leonard wrote the character, and Elmore Leonard is a master of that kind of snappy, black humor dialogue, gallows humor.
Yeah.
So if you're an Elmore Leonard fan, and you should be, that a lot of it he was a producer on it early on, and
a lot of people like that show. Yeah, I've just never seen it.
When he passed away, I feel like they really honored that character well and captured the voice.
Cool. So that was your 3.
That's my 3, Raylan Givens, man.
All right. Well, for as popular and as enjoyable of a choice as your number 3 is, mine is probably the opposite. This is maybe a little more obscure, but it's my personal list, so that's what I have to do.
All's fair in lists.
You might even be able to guess this. My number 3, from the numerous novels and short stories with this character.
I know where you're going. All right.
By Georges Simenon.
Wow, you did the French?
Yeah, well, I butchered it, yeah. Is Jules Maigret.
Yes.
Yeah, so Jules Maigret is he's a police detective, and this great French mystery writer wrote, and I looked this up, 76 novels and 28 short stories about this character.
76 novels about one character.
Yeah,
they're
little short. They're like 100 pages.
Speaking from a writer's perspective, I can tell you what that means right now. That character is 100% him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's the only way you can do it.
Yeah. Well, Simenon was ridiculous. He wrote like 500 books. It's ridiculous.
Dude, what a... All right.
Yeah, he was an animal. So yeah, he's a great character. He's, he hates the criminals and the system, the bureaucracy, and he's very cynical about all that. But like for the victims and the everyday people of the city who he's talking to while figuring it out, he's like very empathetic towards. And it's just a really cool character. There's a bajillion books to read of him.
So where do you start? I mean, I'm
just pick up one. You just it doesn't matter. You just pick up any of them. I mean, I guess you could go in order, but I don't think it really matters. He always introduced him a little bit. But it's just kind of a window into my personal favorite.
Yeah. Which one's getting the lists sticker?
Well, I don't know. Maybe a battle of nerves, I guess.
Okay. All right.
And as a character that prolific, it's been adapted a ton. I guess I'll just highlight one movie from the 50s, a French movie with Jean Gabon playing the role. Maigret Sets a Trap. You can find that. It just came out recently on like a new Blu-ray. Anyway, it's a good movie.
All right. Well,
probably the best movie adaptation of the character.
Yeah, I mean that's really high again for one that I have no familiarity with.
Yeah, I mean,
I would say I feel like a
it's a personal
Philistine, but
choice. No, it's
I'm talking
obscure.
to you.
Well, yeah.
And I
So
just
yeah.
came out with Raylan Givens.
Well, that's our
Whatever.
lists will have some contrast. That's
Let
great.
me be very clear about this. That was not an apology.
I know that was a dig at me. I get it. All right, so Jules Maigret by Georges Simenon. Google it, look it up. They're really short, like 100-page little mysteries, and they're really fun.
Page turners too?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. We're checking out.
All right.
It's
What's
going
your
on
number
the list,
three?
man. It's going on the list.
So
All
that
right.
was my three.
So 3 was Raylan for me.
Okay.
We're at my 2 now.
All right, let's do two.
Ooh, all right, we're getting close here.
Yeah.
We're running. I think we're kind of at that stage where people can start guessing.
Yeah. I mean, there's some obvious ones.
I think you probably have a solid guess at my number 2. I don't know. I will
Okay.
give you. I'm going to give you credit for this. All right.
You should for all things, but
Jeez. I knew. I take it back immediately. Immediately. All
is
right.
this something I introduced you to, or
You did introduce
Okay.
me to this, and to the film Chinatown, which leads to my number 2, which is Jake Gittes from Chinatown. Now,
man, played by the great Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson.
I'm gonna go ahead and skip ahead. Jake Gittes is my number 2
Whoa!
from Chinatown.
Wait, so our number 2's a line?
Yeah, we have the same number 2.
That sounds really weird. Our number 2's a line.
Yeah, don't say it that way.
Yeah, well,
Too late now.
I think we just got the title of the pod.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we both have him at 2.
Yep.
That's interesting. I knew he was going to be
I
up there
thought he
for
might
you.
be number 1, but okay.
I thought he was going to be one for you. Oh, well, now I'm curious.
Okay.
Well,
I'll leave that
all right.
hanging. But yeah,
Oh my
just the classic movie detective. It has never been done better.
Yep.
It was the best when it happened, and it hasn't been beat, and
Has not
that's
been
just
topped.
it. Yeah.
I mean, good luck finding a tighter script.
Maybe the best screenplay ever written. Sure.
And just, yeah. I mean, I feel like, so obviously, this character did not invent that hard-boiled detective.
No, it
But
just
this
perfected it.
it was almost so good that it ended the hard-boiled detective. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, how do you follow that up?
Right. It was like after Chinatown, all of a sudden that became quaint and people didn't want to go back to it anymore as much.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't think it was until people started experimenting with that character type with movies like Blade Runner, which again,
Yeah, changing genres a bit, yeah.
Yeah, you take that same
Transporting
character,
the character.
type and you transport it to a different setting.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think it breathed new life into it, and now we're seeing that hard-boiled detective kind of make a return. But I really do.
If you haven't seen Chinatown, like,
man.
some things are classics for a reason. Like,
yeah,
Chinatown's good.
And I know the whole Polanski thing is.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we could go into that, but we're not going to.
Well, yeah, screw that guy, but the movie's great.
Seriously, screw that guy. But holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just really good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Jake
so
Gittes,
good
2.
that it single-handedly probably put the hard-boiled detective in hibernation.
Yeah. All right. Well, that just leaves number 1.
All right. So who's that? Is it me or is it you?
It was my list idea, so I get to go last.
All right.
Okay, no, all right, I'll take it.
No,
Whatever.
you can do that.
No, I'll go.
Oh, okay. Well,
My number 1, and I don't think you've seen this, so I can't talk too much. And it was an obvious choice for me. Gun to my head, it's maybe the best movie ever. Um, it is John Scotty Ferguson from Vertigo, as played by Jimmy Stewart.
Hitchcock.
Yeah, Hitchcock. Vertigo.
Yeah.
Scotty. I can't talk too much without spoilers. It's just number one.
See, this is one of those hard moments where the fact that I'm not, and again, part of me doesn't even want to say the fact that I'm not a movie guy because I feel ashamed that I haven't seen that movie, even though I'm not a movie guy. Because
you've seen a lot of movies.
Yeah, well,
I mean, it's a movie from the 50s. Not a ton of people have seen it anymore, especially young people. Those damn youths out there.
Certainly something that I know, and I know of its reputation. And there's a part of me that, like,
it
as
is
a writer,
fantastic.
feels like I should know that movie.
Yeah. Well, hold off. I will show it to you the next time we are together.
This, for ladies and gentlemen, this is Scott's thing. He will recommend things to you, but you're not allowed to watch them without him. And then you got to understand what he does when he's showing a film to you. Okay, he will completely take over the environment.
Is it so wrong to want the lights to be off?
Oh my God. It's not just that. It's every single aspect of it. And then, here's the part that gets me. He will spend the entire film looking at you for your reaction to it. And making sure that you're watching with the level of attention that he demands.
I can't really refute
No,
any
hold
of that.
on. If we need to bring Emily on the pod to interview her about this, all right, we will. Because I guarantee she
Yes, she will back you up completely. My wife, by the way, for anyone wondering.
Emily, when you hear this, please, on one of our platforms, get in touch and back me up on this.
I'm saying she will. That is all true. That is what I do. I am so sorry for caring.
Hold on. That's an extreme version of caring. And Emily, I'm so sorry that you have to live with that. But, that's the choice you made.
Yeah, she married me. It's her fault.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, so...
Careful,
yeah,
or
I have
she
Scotty
may
from
rectify
Vertigo.
the problem.
Yeah, okay. Hilarious.
All right, so
That's my number one.
I want to discuss it more because it's your number one, but I can't.
No, it's okay. Everyone just go watch Vertigo and you'll agree with me. It's number one.
But except for me, because I can't watch it because I have to be babysat by Scott.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. Here's the joke's on you, sucker. I'm going to rent that thing tomorrow and watch it.
I'm getting in the car now.
And I'm going to have all the lights on and the windows open. And I'm going to just have... You know what? I'm going to watch it on my phone.
You take that back, you blasphemer.
I'm going to watch it on my phone without headphones.
Oh my God. Make sure to double tap and zoom in and ruin the aspect ratio too while you're at it.
I think I will.
Yeah, I'm sure you would.
I'm going to put it on low power mode too, so that it's not...
Okay. Now the podcast really is over. We're done.
Well, here's the thing: is people probably think that you're just joking about your indignation, but I know that, like, right now, your palms are sweating with anger.
My fingers may or may not be white from being, white knuckling the air right now.
All right, so Vertigo, Jimmy
Vertigo,
Stewart's
number
character.
one, absolutely number one.
All right, I can't argue one way.
And I don't want to go because I don't want to spoil it. Look up nothing about the movie, going completely blind. That's the best.
Here's the other thing: he won't even let you watch a trailer for a film.
Why bother when you're about to watch the movie?
Because it's fun, Scott. Because people like to have fun.
No, fun is not allowed.
Good Lord.
All right. What's your number one then? Let's finish this off.
All right, yeah, let's finish this off without an argument. I'm sure this one won't cause one. All right. Okay, so like I said, I had fun with this list because I had fun.
I had fun too. Screw you.
I'm not saying that you didn't have fun. Don't be so competitive.
All right. Okay.
What I'm saying is the fun for me in creating this list was in in our rules and in that idea of stretching it.
Oh, no.
So, no, hold on. I'm going to stretch it. I am.
Okay, let's hear it.
Number 1.
Number 1, top 10 fictional detectives.
Indiana Jones. No, yep, you heard it. Indiana Jones is a detective.
Okay. First thing, I love Indiana Jones.
Do you?
Oh, I do. A detective is quite a stretch.
Come on. Especially in the Holy Grail.
Really? He finds that ridiculous X in the library and that makes him a detective?
First of all, how dare you call that ridiculous?
That was a little silly, let's be real.
No, that was oh my God, what are you doing right now?
The X alone was a little silly. I'm not saying the movie.
It was not. X marks because look, the way that was set up. X
Okay.
never ever marks the spot, and then X marks
it.
the spot. Come on, that's brilliant.
It's a little silly, but okay.
Oh, please.
Detective is a humongous stretch.
Look, is it a big stretch? Yes. Is it?
Okay, then we're in agreement. End of podcast.
No. I think it's completely legitimate. Indiana Jones is a detective. Boom. Let me ask you this. Is Batman a detective?
Is Batman a detective?
Yeah.
It depends on the iteration, I guess.
Oh, jeez.
Because in some of like the early comic, like he appeared right in like Detective Comics.
Yeah, that's correct. He did.
And I would say the version that's the animated series, he definitely did some detecting. But like any of the recent movies, he's just an action superhero. There's no real detective work.
I don't know. I
mean, I would even call Batman a slight stretch unless you're picking a specific version.
Oh, listen, Batman. Look, I'm not saying it's not a stretch, and Batman's a stretch for sure, right? And Batman might even be. I mean, he's definitely closer than Indy because what he's doing is in the ballpark of law enforcement, right?
Sure, yeah.
You know what? Here's the thing. I'm going to stop arguing my case because I don't care what the list is. I'll put Indiana Jones number 1. Top 10 presidents. Number 1, Indiana Jones. Top 10 bands of all time. Number 1, Indiana Jones. It doesn't matter.
I guess I can't argue that too much.
Indiana Jones is so cool. It's so freaking awesome. And hold on. Let's make very, 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 very clear here that we're talking about the Indiana Jones.
There is no fourth movie, yes.
Thank you. All right.
Okay.
Just so everyone's clear.
There were 3 films.
End of story.
That's it, yeah.
That's it. 3 films. Boom. Done.
All right. Anyway, Indiana Jones, number 1.
Indiana Jones is so cool. You know what? I could make a case for him as being number 1 on any list we do.
All right, and that's it.
Yeah. Indiana Jones. There you go. Show him some respect.
So that was our top 10 fictional detectives.
Top 10 fictional detectives. We've got...
what was your list? Run it down real fast.
All right, real quick. 10, McNulty and the Bunk from The Wire. 9, Philip Marlowe from Raymond Chandler's novels. 8 was Russell Bayes from Out of the Furnace. 7, DCI Alec Hardy from Broadchurch. 6, Captain Miller from Saving Private Ryan. 5, Jake Hoyt from Training Day. 4, Rick Deckard from Blade Runner. That's 2 appearances by Harrison Ford. Sorry, Dad. 3, Raylan Givens from Justified. 2, Jake Gittes from Chinatown. And 1, that's right, Indiana Jones.
All right, and I have at 10, D.I. Miller from Broadchurch. At 9, I have Rick Deckard from Blade Runner. That was the same. Both on our top 10. 8, I have Columbo from the TV show Columbo. 7, Philip Marlowe from the Chandler novels. 6, John Anderton from Minority Report. 5, Sherlock Holmes from the TV show Sherlock. 4, Will Graham from the TV show Hannibal. 3, Jules Maigret from the Georges Simenon novels. And 2 is the same, Jake Gittes from Chinatown. And my number 1 is Scotty from Vertigo.
Oh, all right. So, interesting. Out of 10, so we've got 30% in common here. Not necessarily in placement, but
Yeah.
Jake Gittes, we've got Rick Deckard, and we've got Marlowe.
Yeah. We had some overlap there.
And Gittes we had in the exact same position.
Yeah. No, I don't think we were too far off from each other.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't. There was nothing I objected strenuously to. I know.
Yeah. I will say, maybe the first thing that stands out of our two lists is only my late change gave us a single female character on
I
either of our
noticed that
lists.
too. I did.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
Which is unfortunate, but yeah,
I mean,
not a
the
lot
genre-
of roles.
The
or
genre's been so
characters.
dominated by
Yeah.
these male characters that I think it's. I would like to think that within the next couple years we're gonna see, and I think we are, because we talked
Yeah.
about Ellie Miller and how she could easily be on either one of our lists and made it to your list.
Yeah.
And those kind of roles are being handed out to more diverse characters, diverse actors and actresses.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about Lyndon from The Killing. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yes, that was on my
okay.
radar too.
Okay, Muriel Aranos? How do you say her name? I butchered that.
I honestly have no idea. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
she's a
guessing
very
it's
good
not
character.
what you just said.
Muriel Enos or something.
Okay. Yeah, though that was a great character.
Yeah, that
honestly,
was a consideration for me.
In my honorable mentions, like if you had, all of the names that I considered, I always kind of just throw down anything I'm thinking. There were a number of female characters in there, but
yeah, I mean, I thought of like Detective Olivia Benson on SVU. Guilty pleasure.
Yeah, Mariska Hargitay, man.
Yeah. All right, but yeah,
sure, she's the same
interesting.
character from the very first episode of that show until the most recent one, but that's fine.
Well, sort of, but yeah, I hear you. But yeah, I like our lists. I think those are pretty good. We got a good mix of TV, movies, books.
And I think there was some interesting stretching of the concept, which is what we were going for.
And some egregiously bad stretching at the top, sure.
Listen, like I said, you need to put some respect on Indiana Jones's name. I'm not going to have this heresy.
All right, so that was our first lists.
There it is. In the books.
So, yeah. I guess now...
So, what are we doing next?
Yeah, we should transition into our next lists. That'll be next week. And we have a topic, I believe, right?
We do have a topic. You did also come up with this one, but...
well, of course I did. It's fantastic.
Oh, God. This is going to be every time.
Well, all my ideas are great. So next week we're going to music. And the topic is, I think, kind of interesting, a little twist.
No, this is a good topic.
Top 10 albums that formed our tastes.
I love it. I like that. So not top 10
or
albums.
Shaped our...
Not your top 10 albums.
No, the ones that most, molded our musical tastes.
Most significant. They might not even be albums that you even like anymore.
Yeah. Well, we should talk about what kind of rules or restrictions do we want to put on this?
All right, well...
I think the obvious first one is only one entry per musical act. Artist, whatever. Because you can't put like 10 Beatles albums and call it a day. That's too easy.
Well,
No.
that would be lazy. Yeah. I mean,
I
look,
think only one per artist.
but is it? I mean, when you talk about a band like the Beatles,
Well, then pick the one and put it up high.
well,
I don't
hold
know.
on. If you're talking about like early Beatles, and then you're talking like Abbey Road Beatles, you're really talking about two different bands, man. I think it's totally fair to have two of those be. Now, if you're talking about like Green Day,
I guess.
it
I don't
would
know.
be.
I feel like we need some sort of limit, and I like that rule. It makes it harder.
Listen, for the reason that I don't think two Beatles albums would make my list, I'll go ahead and agree to it.
All right.
But for our listeners who are making this out there, you're making lists of their own. You're making it a lot harder on them.
Well, hey, no one said this would be easy.
Is that a sign that you're gonna have Coldplay in yours?
That would have been clever, but no. All right. All right. Any other rules or? I mean, I think we can take it in many different directions.
I guess maybe we should consider what constitutes an album.
Okay.
I mean,
an
I feel
album.
like that's pretty self-explanatory, but like it was released as a full-length collection of music.
Yeah, I would think so.
Well,
Pretty
for example,
self-explanatory.
would like a compilation or a soundtrack count?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it could if that specifically to you personally was the one that happened to influence you a lot. I guess I
but,
don't
like,
mind that.
soundtracks tend to have their own vibes. They may be a bunch of different artists, but they've got a vibe that could really influence your taste in music.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with that being allowed.
Yeah, I'm cool with that too. I feel like that's because so much of this has to do with like when you listen to something and how and what it gave to you, and who knows what it was. I don't know. I feel like this one should be left pretty open.
Yeah, I think we can leave this pretty open to interpretation and make it personal.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be very personal, just by
Of
the
course,
nature of
yeah.
it, which is what makes
Yeah.
it cool. And I think there are gonna be some interesting stories behind some of these.
It's going to be really hard to come up with this.
Just like off the top of my head, just since hearing it, like two albums immediately pop into mind from when I'm a kid, and I can picture exactly how I used to listen to them and where I was and stuff like that. And I
Now
don't even know that they'll end up making the list.
Right. Now that leads me to my other question to you.
Right.
Do we put some sort of like restriction on release date? Like, what if an album that came out 2 weeks ago like blew my mind and has changed my tastes? Is that okay? I'm not saying one did, but
Yeah, I feel like that would be. I mean, you'd have to know yourself pretty darn well to.
I
have
guess.
an
But I
album.
mean, what are we saying? You had to have heard it before you were turned 20, or what? Is there some sort of hard line? Like, where do we put that line?
Well, no, because that's a really good question. Because yeah, there's a case to be made for, you had to have heard it before you were 20. Let's say, like I consider an adult like 23.
Well,
but
I mean, that varies so much for person to person.
sure, true. At least 21, certainly not 18. No offense to any of our younger listeners, but you're not adults. Legally you are, but just trust me on this. If you're mad at it, come talk to me in like 8 years.
Yeah.
All
right. Well,
so
I don't know if I want to put like a hard cap on
I don't
it,
think
though.
I want to either, because I feel like
I think we'll both naturally lean on the safer side of.
I don't think that there's going to be anything within the last, let's say, probably 2 or 3 years for me. But
I mean,
there could
probably
be.
not for me either. I haven't really thought about it yet.
And I think I remember reading something about how your musical taste solidifies pretty solid. Solidifies pretty solid. That's nice, Cardinal. You're an English teacher. Your musical taste tends to kind of cement as you get older. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
And yeah.
I feel like let's leave it
I think
open
we
and
got
see
enough.
how it plays out. Let's see how it
Yeah,
plays
let's
out.
just run with it.
I like this topic. Top 10. How many just jumped into your head? Be honest.
Too many. I'm flooded with
right.
ideas. Yeah, this is gonna be tough.
Was it a whole lot of flannel?
No.
Really?
I don't know. We'll see.
I've got two
some.
words for you right now. All right.
Okay.
Wu Tang.
I don't know how to take that, but all right.
Yeah, you take it however you want.
Okay, well, that is it. Next week, we are doing the top 10 albums that formed our tastes.
And jump in. Be a participant in this. We want to hear from you. What are the top 10 albums that shaped your current musical taste? Your musical taste as it is today.
And, what are your top 10 fictional detectives, too?
Yeah, and back me up, people. Indiana Jones.
You're going to have to beg, I think, for people to be backing you up on that one.
I don't think so. Harrison Ford does his own talking.
So anyway, reach out to us. Send us an email to listthepod@gmail.com. That's liststhepod@gmail.com. Please also follow the show on social media to know when new episodes are dropping and to interact with us. And you can do that on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at liststhepod. And finally, you can find every episode of this podcast on our website, liststhepodcast.com. And, there'll be polls up there. You can maybe vote on future lists, episodes we do. You can vote on whose previous list was better. So, always vote Scott, and you'll be always right.
First poll idea is Indiana Jones a detective or not? We're going to throw that up there. I'm just telling you right now.
Be prepared to lose badly.
Be prepared for me to not care.
Well, that's fine, but you're going to lose.
It's a good place to go. That's where you're going to get all your information about the pod, how to subscribe to the pod, where the links, can find it.
Yeah.
More information on the two of us jabronis.
And,
and recaps of the lists.
Yeah, and we'll post in written form the lists. And so, we're just starting out. So if you can maybe give us 5 stars on whatever you're listening on, that helps a lot to get us going.
It helps so much. Honestly, people, it's a big deal to...
even if you moderately like us and honestly give us a 3 out of 5, just make it 5 out of 5.
Yeah, just do it. Just 5 out of 5. It helps us climb up that list and find users who are not just people that we badgered into this on Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess that does it. That is the first episode of Lists.
It's in the bag.
All right, well, I'm Scott Cassidy.
And I'm Colby Kupperman.
And hope to see you next week.
We'll get you next week.